Christian Council of Ghana, Reverend Dr. Opuni Frimpong, on what he makes of the recent matters concerning the National Cathedral project. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. It must be very discomforting seeing your colleagues at a very high level engaged in what could be described as a media war in respect of the National Cathedral project.
Hello, let me say good evening to you and your team and your cherished listeners. And let me say, appointing authorities reserve the right to accept resignations or not. And at this instant, is the president or the government that appointed members of the board of the National Cathedral. At the moment, I'm not sure, but I have not heard any statement coming from the president's office or the government whether the series of resignations have been accepted or not. But there's an issue, if you permit me, I would rather want to raise on the cathedral as we have this conversation. Now, I was in the office as General Secretary at the very beginning of the National Cathedral. One former presiding bishop of the Methodist Church, Reverend Dr. Samuel Asante-Antwi, was then the chairman of the board of the National Cathedral. And he was explaining matters to us in a series of meetings. And I remember him telling us again and again that we, the churches in Ghana, we are going to build a cathedral, not the government. And that the government is only going to facilitate the process. The president will give a seed money, and we are going to build a cathedral. We were excited about the idea because we felt it will unite us. Our friends in Nigeria have a similar thing. They don't call it National Cathedral. They call it National Ecumenical Center. But all the churches in Nigeria came together to build that facility. So we felt we were having opportunity to work together as a Christian fraternity to achieve something. Until the Honorable Abrakwa started a series of disclosures, many of us or some of us felt that the churches were building cathedral. But during that period, it became very clear that it is the government that is building. My plea is that government must, if possible, allow the churches to build a cathedral. Government can facilitate, as we were told at the initial stages, but Christians in this country must accept the responsibility to build the National Cathedral. We should not offer to God a cathedral that costs us nothing. And that has been my position. That's what I want to share with you and your cherished listeners.
But very well. The government, I think, has maintained that it is not building the cathedral. It is still only providing seed money. We do not know how much that seed money is, which is a major point of contention. Government said it was providing the land and the secretariat, which is what we know and which is what they are doing. The issue of the seed money, we do not know. But government still says that what it is doing is raising the seed money or providing the seed money. So I don't think that it has, we have derogated so much from the initial communication to you, as you said, Reverend Asante-Antwi, relayed to you. Government still thinks that it is only providing seed money, unless you think otherwise.
Salom, this is an issue that we may need maybe somebody from government or to just come out and publicly state the position. I've heard you. During the Parliament discourse and a series of conversation, and I've heard some of the government communicators and others, sometimes they don't give you the assurance you have just stated. And I wish somebody will re-echo that position. And therefore, how much the facilitation or the seed money and all that. And then somebody must let the Christians in this country know that this cathedral the responsibility is the churches, it's not government. We will need that very clear statement coming from official source. I have heard you, but I have also heard other comment, whether they were official or they are individual positions. Now I can't make any commitments to those things. But statements have been thrown here and there, and sometimes we are not very sure whether it's government building cathedral or Christians in Ghana building cathedral.
I see. So of course, there's space or basis for your concern as well, because people think that government is putting in so much money. Government is throwing money at it. Of course, Kudia Blackwest, Revelations, etc. Do you know? Do you have a feeling, or do you know why government will be so interested in putting up this cathedral, and so putting it a lot of money beyond what the seed money may be or not? We do not know. What's your suspicion really?
You see, at the initial stages, they made it clear to us that the vision of having a national cathedral is the president's vision. But the churches in Ghana are going to build. He or the government will facilitate the process, and he will give seed money. And so that time, those of us in the office now started, I've been coming to some media houses and explaining, and we started moving around that this is our responsibility. I remember at a point where we're having challenges with the current site. Even we started saying that, fine, the churches will be prepared to even go outside Accra to Aburi or any other place to build, because we were convinced that we are building this cathedral, so everybody come on board. At the moment, I'm not sure. It depends on who you talk to. Why, for instance, Salom, you want me to believe that it's still the church's building. There are others who also sometimes want to hold a view that, oh, this is a government thing. We will need to streamline this public opinion about the cathedral. Is it church's responsibility or government responsibility? From where I sit and knowing what I know right from the beginning, I am not very sure. And I will need somebody from state government to say, government is not building cathedral. There's nothing like Ghana government building cathedral. It's the churches in Ghana. If somebody tomorrow morning will come out and make this very clear to Ghanaians, I think moving forward, the challenges we are having at the moment with the National Cathedral, we may have a new trajectory moving into the future.
Do you think that the resignation of the two men of God, Archbishop Nicholas and Williams and Reverend Sudanaba, will have any effect on the credibility of the project or of the Board of Trustees or anything? You think it will have any bearing or effect on them?
They have only turned in their resignation. Whether it will be accepted or not, we don't know. And again, how I wish we have had how many hours now. If government or the president is accepting their resignation, we should know. If the president will not accept their resignation, we should know. Salom, you are asking me what impact will this have? But do we even know whether they will be allowed to resign or not? Because the mere fact that you turn a resignation letter, it doesn't mean you've come to the end of the road. The appointing authority can meet you and say, these are the issues you are raising. We have the answers. We still want you there. Or, oh yes, you raised this issue. Sorry, we don't have answers for you. It is when we reach there that even the issue you are raising for me, those people have turned their resignation, but till the appointing authority respond to their resignation, even though they are on their way out, they are still in.
I see. Well, I'm not so old, but I at least I'm old enough to know how things work in Ghana sometimes. I've seen the response from the National Cathedral of Ghana. The response doesn't appear like the resignation, the letter of resignation will not be accepted by the appointed authorities, saying that the is false and all of that. The tone of it itself doesn't suggest to me that the appointing authority would not accept the resignation, even though the National Cathedral of Ghana is not the appointing authority, but they work with the appointing authority. And if any such thing were to be there, I'm sure we would have known. So I mean that's just what I think. But do you think that
before you move on, you as our media team and you, Citi, you do a wonderful job. Can somebody just talk to either the office of the president that what is the government's response or whether reaction or whatever on these letters, series of resignations? Because these they were handpicked. You find heads of churches from those churches, but it's not like, say, the Catholic Church or the Presbyterian Church or the churches you mentioned. It's the president that handpicked them at the beginning and then they were given letters. And all those who are still there that gave the response you mentioned, they were also handpicked and appointed by the president. So they've given their reaction that, fine, you are suggesting that maybe their reaction suggests that will maybe the position of the president. But seriously, technically, they are just part of the board, but we must still hear from either the office of the president or now the cathedral is under Ministry of Tourism. Somebody there must officially, but if Citi can talk to somebody and clear this issue tomorrow morning as part of your news, you will do us a lot of good.
Very well. Even though we are rallying support for the flood victims, but we can add this to it all the same. But do you think that the church in Ghana really needs a cathedral or really want to build the cathedral?
I am a pastor, maybe Salom, but I also share the flood challenge. I don't know if we can have some seconds to talk about that.
Yes, in your closing remarks, yes, I'll give you some time to talk about it.
Yes. But I'm a pastor, and if you are asking me, do we need cathedral? I think you are asking the wrong person.
No, what I mean, yes, maybe let me rephrase. What I mean is, when the churches have their own churches, this cathedral, I mean, it is not to be used for a church in the sense we know. I mean, it's a place, a rallying place, national events, inaugurations, when there's supposed to be a national maybe service. Yes, we do it there, and a few other things. So it's not like a church, okay? But the point is, the church right now, we are, split into denominations, etc. Everybody's thinking about building their own, mega church and all of that, which they can take credit for. The question is, you think the church in Ghana is ready and willing to build this cathedral that has been embroiled in so much, controversy? And how would they do that? How would they contribute? How would they do that? Is it monthly contributions, weekly contributions, Ama and Kofi contribution? How would that be? Quite a loaded question, but
I know. Salam, you see, we don't have a communica center like whether I call it National Cathedral, but the churches in Ghana have joined projects now as Prempeh, and Prempeh belongs to Presby Church and Methodist and Menshia. It's a joint thing, and of course, government is in it. We have Christian Health Association of Ghana. It's a body that is managing all the Christian health facilities in Ghana. Close to 40% of all health facilities in Ghana, the Catholic Hospital, Presby Methodist, Baptist, Pentecost, Anglican, EP, all of them, they come together. So there are so many things that the churches in Ghana, we do together in education, in health, and other sectors. What we don't have, which you find in other countries, is what we are talking about. And it will be wonderful for us to have such a communica facility. I have been a former Christian Council General Secretary. We've been organizing programs, and you have to go and beg. If you want to go to Catholic, you have to go and beg them. If you want to go to a Presby facility, or we will beg, because we don't have a common grounds like that. So such a thing we need. And in fact, there are individual churches in Ghana that have even done the seating capacity of 5,000 we are talking about. There are churches that have bigger facilities like that. So again, the next question you ask, that we are capable, yes. And in fact, initially, people were donating. Churches, congregations, because they were going around. And the initial impression that churches, Christians were doing it. So individual congregations, churches were donating. I don't know how the zeal and enthusiasm is at the moment, but people started donating. And so that we are capable, yes, we are able, we can do it. But at the moment, you use a word, I don't want to repeat it. The National Cathedral in the public space, we need to work on it to attract the zeal and enthusiasm of people. I think that is where the challenge is. But if Christians in Ghana want to have a communal facility, call it National Cathedral, we are more than able to do it.
Very well.
One more is the enthusiasm, the excitement that initially we were able to build. I have my doubt if it's not going down.
Very well. You wanted some remarks on the relief efforts we are leading.
Yes. Now, some things must quickly be done. Our friends in Mepe and other parts, in fact, not only even in Volta region, OT and other regions are going through crisis. And we are one nation. We plead with our politicians not to politicize what people are going through. You see the pictures, the videos, and people need help. This is a genuine need. And maybe let's use your platform. I know some of you have started mobilizing, giving numbers for people to contribute. Some have started providing food and clothing. Any Ghanaian that can be of help must be there. We must all be there. Churches are moving. Then my own church, Presbyterian Church of Ghana, are moving. Let's all move through to such areas and let our friends they are in need feel that they are loved, they belong, and Ghana is a nation that cares. But later on also, we need to find out who were the consultants who did the feasibility studies, what impact were they expecting for this spirit. And I believe some people must accept responsibility of what people are going through at the moment in some parts of Ghana. We need to let people take responsibilities of their action. We cannot let this pass. But immediately, people need help. Students, children, health facilities are being destroyed, and Ghanaians must rally around our dear ones in some parts of Ghana, Volta region, Uti, and elsewhere, and let them feel that they are loved, they are needed, they belong to this dear nation.
Thank you very much, Reverend Dr. Opuni Frimpong, former General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana.